When 23-year-old Daniel Carter walked into the quiet nursing home that evening, he wasn't looking for love. He was looking for a job. His scholarship had been cut, rent was overdue, and his mother's medical bills were piling up. But fate doesn't always arrive with flowers, it sometimes comes in the form of a trembling hand reaching out for help. "Could you read me something, dear?" asked Mrs. Eleanor Whitmore, a 71-year-old widow sitting by the window, her silver hair glowing in the sunset. Daniel smiled, pulling a chair beside her. "Of course, ma'am. What would you like me to read?" And that was how it began. Eleanor was once one of the richest women in Boston, a real estate tycoon who built an empire from nothing. But after her husband's death, she'd grown lonely. Her relatives circled her life like vultures, waiting for her to pass so they could tear apart what she'd built. Daniel's visits became her only comfort. He read to her every evening after his classes, old love stories, poems, sometimes even her own letters from decades ago. He wasn't just reading, he was listening, to her memories, her regrets, her laughter. "You remind me of my husband when he was young," she once said softly. "He had nothing but dreams too." When Eleanor fell gravely ill, her family stopped visiting altogether. Only Daniel remained by her side. He cleaned her room, brought her soup, fixed her broken glasses, and made her laugh when the nurses couldn't. And then, one morning, she made a strange request. "Daniel," she said, her voice frail but clear, "marry me." He froze. "Mrs. Whitmore, what are you saying?" "I don't have much time left," she whispered. "My family only sees my money. But I see your heart. I want someone pure to take care of what's left of my life, and my legacy. Not because I'm rich, but because you care." Daniel hesitated for days. People would call him a gold digger. But in her eyes, he saw something no one had shown him before, trust. So he agreed. The wedding was quiet. No press, no family. Just the two of them and a small ring she slipped on his finger with trembling hands. For 7 days, they lived like two lost souls who had found peace in each other's company. They drank tea in the garden. She told him stories of her youth. He read to her until she fell asleep, and on the 7th night, Eleanor passed away quietly, holding his hand. At the funeral, her family glared at Daniel with disgust. They expected him to show up in a fancy suit, demanding inheritance papers. But he came in a simple black coat, dropped a white rose on her coffin, and left. He never asked for a penny. But 1 week later, a lawyer knocked on his door. "Mr. Carter," the man said, handing him an envelope, "Mrs. Whitmore left this for you." Inside was a letter. "My dearest Daniel. You once told me you wanted to build a home for those who have none. I couldn't give you youth or time, but I can give you a start. You showed me love without expecting anything in return. So I leave you something to continue what you began in me, hope. With love, Eleanor." Attached was a deed, to a large countryside estate with a note, "Turn it into a place for others to feel seen." Months later, the estate became Whitmore Haven, a shelter for struggling students and elderly people with no family. Daniel didn't just build a foundation, he built a family, just like she wanted. Every evening, he'd sit by the same window where she once sat and read to those who gathered around him. And sometimes, when the wind brushed through the curtains, he swore he could hear her voice whisper, "You did it, dear. You finally gave them a home."